Hello everybody! Say you have created the greatest NuGet package in the world and now you want to share that with the world. This is Stef from Samayas and welcome to my channel. Now how do you share that with the world? Well, you could of course mail it to everybody you know, but that's not really a feasible option. Then there's NuGet.org, the .NET reference. So next you need to create an account on NuGet.org. Since this is a Microsoft managed site, you can of course log in with your Microsoft account. Then, depending on whether you want to publish packages under your own name or as an organization, you need to create an organization, and afterwards you might need to add multiple users to that organization, if you work in a team for instance. Once you have created your account, you need to get an API key so that you can upload the package to NuGet.org by using tools. You can of course upload that through the site manually, or you can use an Azure DevOps server to do the job for you, since this in general is a process that might happen more than once. If for instance you have some bug fixes, which never happens of course, or you want to add some features. The best is of course to also share the NuGet symbol files. The first time it might be best to just manually upload your file till everything is accepted and you have a working and valid NuGet package. And then once this works, you can automate it and integrate it in your Azure DevOps pipeline or another pipeline process, or some other tooling. Also, if you're serious about packages, it's best to also reserve your package ID reservation. It's the first word in your package name. This also protects your package ID for future reference, and then nobody can publish something underneath your package ID. For instance, everything which is Microsoft dot is reserved for Microsoft. However, this is a manual process and requires you to send some emails. Before uploading your first package, you should build a README file which contains clear details about what your package will do and won't. One thing to keep in mind is that once something is published out there in the world, it will never be deleted anymore. Otherwise, other applications that rely on those tools might not work anymore. Only copyright infringement packages will be removed. So what are the minimum requirements for your NuSpec file? First, you need a unique ID for your NuGet package, and you need to take into account the potential package ID reservation. Something like company name, .project name, .purpose. I've called mine Samayas.msbuild.nuspec package reference updater task. Next, you need a version for your packet. You also need to fill in the authors of the package. That might be a person or a company. You need to provide a description of your package. And last, you need to provide a license which is optional for NuSpec files, but which is required for NuGet.org. Next, we have the nice to haves. We have the project URL, which is a link to your project or homepage. We have a repository which allows you to integrate with GitHub and Azure DevOps, should you have a public repo for this project. Tags are also useful for NuGet.org to categorize your package. Release notes keep your users up to date about what is changing for your package. Icon/icon URL gives your package a professional look. And then the dependencies of your package depending on the type of package you're building and what other packages your package requires. So now we're all set. Let's dig in. Okay, now let's sign in to NuGet. I click the sign in button. I sign in with my Microsoft account. And so here I need to create a username to log into NuGet, which I will do. And I click the register button. And now I have an account on NuGet. And so when I click the drop down, I can see view profile, I can see account settings, I can see API keys, I can see manage organization, I can see manage package, I can upload a package, and I can sign out. So now the first thing I will do is go to manage organization and create an organization. And so now I will create an organization, click on add. And so after creation, I get a pending email address and my organization is complete. And I probably need to confirm an email. And we can also see the members underneath. And once my email address is confirmed, I can also upload a profile picture. And after clicking on the link, my organization is confirmed. So if I refresh this, I get a confirmed page. And so if I want a profile picture, I need to create a Gravatar profile picture. And after creating a Gravatar profile, I get a Gravatar picture. Next I have one member, and that's it for now. I have created my organization. So now I'm ready to upload my first NuGet package. Let's give it a shot. So as you can see, trying to do a manual upload the first time is quite good. Even though my project does contain a README MD file, somehow it's not in the NuGet package and it's showing me as an error. So I'll try to fix that first. Apparently, in my project file, I was missing a package README file attribute. So now finally, my package is uploaded. And here, if I want to, I can continue. So as you can see, it's an MIT license. I will assign the owner to the company. It recovers all dependencies. It recovers the description, the release notes. There's no project URL specified yet. The Git repo. There's no repo specified yet. The icon, the authors, the copyright, and the tags. And I can choose to make it visible or not. I've included a logo link to my site, but that's not considered a trusted domain. And also I've included an image, and the image, as you can see, is shown here. Now you can choose between both. You can either include it or specify a link. And then finally, it's showing me the README file, which I've included. I could even add some extra documents. And if I want now, I can submit the first version. So let's go. So I have my first NuGet package published. Correction, I've submitted it to NuGet. And as the message specifies, it might take up to 1 hour to be validated and indexed. And afterwards, it'll be available. And so now I require to make an API key. So we go in the profile and we select API keys. And here I can manage existing API keys or I create a new one. So let's create a new one. I call my key Azure DevOps. And this key for now, I'll take 1 day. And who's the owner? The company is the owner. And allow. And I can choose whether or not I can push new packages and new versions or just new package versions. For now, I'll leave default. I could also flag the unlist and relist packages to temporarily remove a package. And here in the bottom, say that I have already created a number of packages and we are a company and we have department 1, which has the right to distribute package 1. And we have a second department who has another package. Then I could restrict here that the first package is only accessible by the first key and the second package is only accessible by the second key. In my case, that's not the case, so I'll just create one for 1 day. Let's create. Okay, I need to require to give a star for everything. And here it created a key for myself. I can copy the key, I can edit it to change the rights, I can regenerate, or I can revoke should that key be lost or needs to be revoked. Please pay attention to the warning, because after we leave this page, we will probably not be able to recover this key. So let's do the test. So after a refresh, I don't have a copy anymore, and the key is permanently lost. So now I'm back in my Azure DevOps server. I created a NuGet account. I created an organization. I created an API key. I already had a NuGet build. I already had a NuGet release where I published to my local NuGet server, and now I'm going to create a second one to publish directly into NuGet server. So I'll create a new stage, and I'll create an empty one, and I'll call this publish artifact NuGet.org. And so I create a new stage. I call it publish artifact NuGet.org, and I save that stage. And so the first thing I'm going to do here is to specify condition, and I want to have pre-deployment approval. Since it's public, even though I want to try it out first locally, and if it's working, I want to publish it to NuGet.org only after I've tested it locally. So I click on pre-deployment and enter username, and I assign myself as approver, and I close it. And now I'm going to add tasks underneath. And the first thing I want to do, I want to add a NuGet installer tool. So I click add, I type NuGet installer, and I add it. And the second one I need is NuGet itself. And I want the latest NuGet install version. And here in NuGet itself, I want to push. I know it's called and it's located somewhere in a subdirectory called NuGet. And I want to choose an external NuGet server. And here I need to create a new one. And I call it NuGet.org. And so as it already indicates, I need to type https api.nuget.org/v3/index. And I fill in my feed URL, and I fill in the API key I previously copied, and I just need to give it a service name. It's nuget.org, And I'm going to grant it permission to all pipelines, because in the same repo I might push some other package out. So I click save, and so now I get my NuGet server, and that's about it. So now I click save, and I'm ready to give it a shot. And so now let's rerun the pipeline and see the whole process. And it's finished, so now he's automatically running first locally to the local artifact server. And that's done. And so now I can manually approve the install on NuGet.org. And I've finished installing my package automatically through Azure DevOps. So if I now come back the next day, I can see I have a published package and I already have 13 downloads. If I click through, it's validated. I still have the warning issues and my package is live. If you already did the work to create a NuGet package before, going the last mile and making that available for everybody isn't so hard. If you guys enjoy this content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell sign. Or leave a comment down below.